Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. Smash the like button if you love me. Subscribe if you're new. Please have your say. Mike Adby and Mike DeLuca and Pam Adby have been talking a lot about their plans for Warner Brothers Pictures' future. They want Christopher Nolan back. He's been on the lot. They've given him his royalties for Tenet, but they always had to pay him that, I'm assuming, anyway. Why would Christopher Nolan want to come back to Warner Brothers when Universal Pictures, in terms of Oppenheimer, have been very, very accommodating? I think that Warner Brothers are a very, very desperate company. You had Nolan. He got very, very angry with Jason Kilar over the day and date. You're not getting him back. End of story. Bobcat, hey Mickey, good evening. Charles Austin, hey Mick, have a good dinner, a great dinner. Pasta and grated halloumi cheese. It was beautiful. John, evening Mick, good evening. And of course, people are going to begin going out to see the Flash movie. Reviews are coming in on YouTube. It's very, very interesting. I love Nerd Roddick's artwork for his review of the Flash movie, a picture of Ezra Miller throttling the Flash. It's freaking hilarious. Scott Edwards, what's up? A very good evening to you, Scott. This show is about you. We can talk about anything you want. Bobcat, I haven't talked to you in a while. My friend, how have you been? Yes, I've been very, very well, Bobcat. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming in. It's always great to talk to you. It's always great to get the old team together again, and everyone is welcome on this live chat. Scott Edwards, happy 10-year anniversary to Man of Steel. Yes, it's the 10-year anniversary of Man of Steel, one of my favorite movies, a contemporary movie of Superman. It's going to be very, very hard for James Gunn to top that. Can he? Charles Austin, WB knows what they had in Nolan. That's why they want him back. They want him back, Charles, but why would he leave the biggest studio now in Hollywood? He's been given the freedom to make a 3-hour epic movie. They haven't interfered with his movie. Why would he leave Universal to go back to Warner Brothers? It sounds to me an act of desperation. Scott Edwards, did you see the final crossover episode with Oliver? I did see it. I like the Oliver Queen scenes. The rest of it was oversaturated with the usual boring supporting characters, typical of later Arrowverse. But having Stephen back was brilliant. I love Stephen Amell. He's very direct. He's a bit like me. He calls it as it is. Charles Austin, exactly, Mick. Nolan should stay right where he is at Universal. I don't see him coming back to Warner Brothers. As I said, why would he? He had a great relationship with Warner Brothers. Kilar fucked it up. AT&T and Kilar fucked it up. Day and date really pissed Chris off. He's very passionate about the theatrical system. This industry tried to hijack the theatrical system and transfer it to streaming. They didn't get their way. It's a bit like when those clubs in the Premier League tried to do a Super League and they were thwarted. It's the same thing. And they lost because the big name directors said no. It's the same reason Scorsese did the New York Times article about the MCU being nothing but a kind of an amusement ride, because they had enough of Disney hijacking every screen for their Marvel movies. So Scorsese destroyed them. And from the moment Scorsese did that article, the MCU has been losing audiences, respect, and quite right too. Scott Edwards, no Lost Kingdom spoilers. I just think you're going to be spoiling the film for people who may not want to be spoiled, my friend. It's common sense, isn't it? Scott Edwards, how would you rank for 4 Mandoverse seasons so far? Has there been 4 Mandoverse seasons? Are you talking about the other one as well? Well, the first one is the best one. The second one's really good. And the third one's bad. But and the other one, Boba Fett, is terrible. I'd probably put that just before season 3 of Mandalorian. Bobcat, I just found you on Twitter, Mick. I don't know if you use it a lot, but maybe we can talk more on there as well. Right. Bobcat, you are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. I don't respond to direct messages just to protect everyone. You can tag me. You can comment on my posts. I'm there a lot. I share all the entertainment news. I'm a Manchester United football fan. It's a football team. If you don't know what that is, I share Manchester United chat. I talk to Manchester United fans. I talk about entertainment. So you're more than welcome to tag me at any time, and we can have a conversation on my timeline, of course. Scott Edwards, have you seen the Ashoka spoilers? No, I haven't. Scott Edwards, I mean the Ashoka trailer. I've seen the trailer. It looks solid. I'm still not feeling it for Ahsoka, but we will see. We will see if this is another whaman, kind of representation thing, or if it's going to be good. I think that, Filoni's whole turning animation into live action is a little bit problematic and lacks imagination. Charles Austin, the first 21 minutes of Man of Steel was the most visually stunning opening sequences for Krypton I've ever seen. Yeah, listen, the Krypton sequence is absolutely outstanding, not just visually, but the storytelling is great as well. You can also tell that Jor-El and Zod were once friends, that Zod was once the hero of Krypton. There's a lot of story there, but I love seeing Russell Crowe being this all-action kind of scientist as well. It's great. Squidward, did you see all of Boba Fett? I did. I wasn't overly impressed. Sam and reviews. I saw the Flash. It was good. Well, Sam, you're here. Tell us about your favourite bits. Talk to me what you loved about the Flash. What was it you loved about the Flash? Let us know. Scott Edwards. So will Batman still be in the Lost Kingdom? Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom? I have no idea. I mean, like Jason Momoa months ago said, both Batmen may be in that movie. He was teasing it. Who knows? John, have you seen the Kraven the Hunter leaked picture? I have. I'm very interested in the Sony Marvel universe. Sam's own views. I loved the first act. I loved when he went in time. Michael Keaton was good, and Sasha Calle. Yes, Michael and Sasha are very good. Ezra Miller delivers a really, really good performance. If you leave all the baggage at the door, I think you will enjoy that movie. Charles Austin, Russell Crowe was awesome as Jor-El and horrible as Zeus. He was. I don't know why he sold out and did that Thor movie, Love and Thunder. But they made a Greek god a clown. Now just imagine if that was done, for example, right, to an iconic, Jewish historical character. Hollywood and the extreme left would be up in arms. But when it's one of my people, because I'm Anglo-Greek Cypriot, it's okay, right? But their people are always treated with reverence. Scott Edwards, you didn't like the final battle with Cad Bane and the Pikes in the town. It was all right. They sidelined Boba mid-season on his own show with Mandalorian and Baby Yoda, a.k.a. Grogu. That was wrong. Sam the Jam views, I love the ending. I don't know why people don't like the ending. Oh, of the Flash movie, that ending. Right, let's just talk about it, right? Most people know about it. We're going to spoil the Flash a little bit. Me and Sam are going to talk about the Flash, right? If you don't want to know, I understand if you leave. So, Sam, we know that instead of Michael Keaton coming out the car by the courthouse at the end, it's George Clooney instead. It's okay. But it means that Ezra Miller has been dumped in the Clooney universe. And we only see him again if they do a Flash movie sequel, which is very, very unlikely. But that ending was originally Michael Keaton coming out of the car. So if they just decided not to use the Flash movie to put the new DCU in, to use the new DCU to, kind of give us kind of a new timeline, they could have just had Keaton and Sasha Calle in the end of that movie. And it's a shame they were cut. So they used George Clooney instead. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Scott Edwards. So the DCU merged with Clooney's universe. Well, kind of. It's not the entirety of the DCEU because there's no Batfleck there and there's no Henry Cavill Superman there. So I wouldn't exactly call it the DCEU. I wouldn't even call it a merger. I don't really know what to call it, to be honest with you. Do you know what I wish? I wish that Walter Hamada wasn't removed as DC Films president until his movies had been released. I wish that Ray Fisher hadn't have exposed him and he was publicly out there promoting these films. In a way, I would have liked to have seen his plans and for them to come to fruition, just to see what the hell he was planning in terms of the Flash movie. Thereafter, the Flash movie with Batgirl, Blue Beetle, and the Flash movie sequel as well. I think he should have been forced to stay, so he can answer for what he's done. Charles Austin, translation, Ezra is done as Flash. That's why the ending was changed to the Clooney verse. Exactly. He's been basically dumped in a universe they're never going to use again. I tell you what, James Gunn must really not be happy with Miller and just want it to be done with him publicly. He will never admit that. Anyway, of course, James Gunn did an interview with good friend Michael Rosenbaum, who played Lex Luthor. Michael Rosenbaum is now being attacked by members of the Snyderverse community because there was this discussion about Michael being the best Lex. Newsflash, Michael Rosenbaum is the best live-action Lex Luthor. It isn't even a debate. I like what Eisenberg did. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but at the end of the day, I don't think anyone can say that Eisenberg is the best Lex Luthor, and it's clear that for me, it is Michael Rosenbaum who's the best Lex Luthor. Scott Edwards, but couldn't it be that Clooney is now the Batman in the DCEU timeline? I would imagine not. I can't see a reality where James Gunn makes George Clooney the DC Universe's Batman. Do you, Scott? Do you realize the controversy, the annoyance that would bring? He's the most unpopular version of Batman of all time. There's no way any serious person who wants to be successful makes George Clooney the DCU Batman. Sam DeJan, James Gunn said George Clooney isn't the DCU Batman. That's right. He's not. There's no way, Sam. There's no way. Basically, Miller has been dumped in a universe that will never be used again. In a way, it's a bit of a cliffhanger ending. And if there was a sequel, they'd deal with it. But I just can't see there being a sequel of the Flash movie unless it's so successful. And the projections for the box office aren't great. We'll see from tomorrow how it does. And I think that, they'll call them previews. We'll see how the previews do, and we'll see how the opening weekend does. It is a very interesting situation. People's reactions will be coming in over the weekend. I think everyone who's seen the movie reckons that the CGI isn't great. John, I really enjoyed that in Smallville, Lex started off as a good guy. Yes, it was a great journey. He starts off as a guy seeking redemption. He's been forced to come to Smallville by his dad. He's trying to be a better person. In the end, he loses the battle with his sanity. But unlike the comic book Lex Luthor, he loves Clark Kent as a brother, as he says in The Fortress. I love you as a brother, but it has to end this way. I see you as a friend. I love you, brother. And he stays there. He doesn't leave Clark to die. He stays there with him. He's willing to die with Clark. So it's a very, very different dynamic than we've seen in the movies, other TV shows, and in the comics. And in BVS, Lex Luthor absolutely despises Superman, as he does in the comics. Scott Edwards, I mean, like, the DCEU is totally separate from the DCU now, and it's not a Flashpoint reboot like we originally thought. Right. Originally, Scott, it was going to be a new timeline, which was still going to be the DC Extended Universe. So it was going to be like they were starting again. So what you would have seen in that moment where you see Clooney at the end of this movie, you would have seen Sasha Calle and Michael Keaton, and they would have been canon in the new DCEU timeline. That's not what's going on now. James Gunn has created his own timeline where he's still using his Suicide Squad universe, because originally, before he was co-CEO of DC Studios, he was just going to work on Max on his Suicide Squad universe TV shows. Scott Edwards, I think Mira will be in the final battle. Oh, you're talking about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Can't talk about that. But let's see if we even get to see that movie. They're not even talking about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. It's not sounding good for the future of that film. We will see, Scott. We will see. But yes, everyone will be going out to watch the Flash movie. We're going to get all the opinions. There's some people who want to hate it before they've seen it. We know the agendas. We know that this is a divided fan base. And there's a lot of shit. They say a lot of these Snyderverse stands are attacking Michael Rosenbaum. Attacking Michael Rosenbaum isn't a good idea. They're saying, oh, he's not in the industry anymore. He's a loser, blah, 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 blah. Attacking Michael Rosenbaum isn't a good look. He's a good guy. He loves Superman. He loves DC. And attacking him isn't going to end well. He has people who will fight his corner. And I'm talking about fans. People like me will fight Michael Rosenbaum's corner. Not that Michael needs anyone to fight his corner, but, the Snyderverse stands are not going to get away with this like they normally do. They've picked the wrong person to pick on. It isn't going to work out for them. Scott Edwards, if they don't release Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, I'll be super unhappy. Scott Edwards, can I send you an Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom article to read? I have nothing to read it on. I can't read it via my laptop because I'm using it to do this video. This tablet is very unreliable. I'm waiting for a phone. When I get my phone, and I've been waiting for a new phone for many, many months now, we can start reading articles again, Scott, but I don't have anything to read the article on. So, yeah, you'd be wasting your time. But I'm quite happy to talk about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I'm quite happy to talk about DC. Any TV show, any movie you want to talk about, that's what we're here to do. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be doing live videos again. And yes, our main headline is that Warner Brothers Pictures want Christopher Nolan back at the studio. I just don't see it. I just do not see it. The only way Nolan comes back out of loyalty because WB gave him his big break, but I just don't see it. I just feel that Universal are the biggest studio out there. Nolan's just about to release that movie, especially if Oppenheimer is as big a hit as I believe it will be. There's just no reason. And I mean, that's going to be an Oscars darling as well. That's going to clean up in the Oscars of 2024. We need to get this writer's strike out of the way, and the industry needs to reset because there's a lot of problems. But Warner Brothers are a very desperate company. Zaslav, and Abby and DeLuca have been there for over a year. They've been making like empty promises. We're going to do that. We're going to embrace theaters. You're doing nothing. They're trying to go back to Lord of the Rings. They met, they went to New Zealand to meet Peter Jackson. But I don't believe Peter Jackson has been signed on to direct new Lords of the Rings media. I think he'll be a producer on this stuff. But at the moment, there's no confirmation that Peter Jackson will be involved. We shall see. But they're definitely looking to do Lord of the Rings movies. But also, we know, even though the Lord of the Rings trilogy was highly successful, that people hated the Hobbit trilogy. Personally, I really enjoyed the Hobbit trilogy, and I thought it was okay. But the diehard fans who have read the books, who know all the Tolkien lore, didn't like it. I get that, but personally, I did like the Hobbit trilogy as much as I liked the original Lord of the Rings trilogy. Squidwards, you can't talk about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom test screening details, right? No, I can't. John, the Penguin and Daredevil have stopped filming. That's right, John. It's not just those projects. Everything can't work at the moment. And a lot of productions are stopping filming, even the already written ones, out of respect for the industrial action of the WGA. So everything's pretty much at a standstill. They'll release like things that are ready, that have been cut, things like the latest MCU Disney Plus show, Secret Invasion and things like that. But yeah, things are not going to carry on. Waz 007, hi Mick. Good evening, Waz. Hope you're doing well. This is Movies TV Mad. This is our live evening chat, and I'm glad to be here. Scott Edwards, will Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom be affected by the strike, maybe? I don't think so, because I think they finished that film. I think that film was finished a while back, and I think they're working on post-production now. So I don't think they can use that as an excuse. I don't think they're still making that movie, as far as I know, but they will be working on post-production, Scott. As I say, they're not talking about that film. That's the concern. They're not, he's mentioned Blue Beetle will be the first movie in the new DC universe. He hasn't said a jot about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I truly believe they're considering shelving that movie. Let's see what happens. And we will see. I could be wrong, I could be right. But when you're not mentioning something, and that should be a big hitter for them. The last Aquaman movie made over $1 billion. They're very excited about Joker Folie à Deux. They're very excited about the Batman 2. So, yeah. Scott Edwards, so based on what you saw with no spoilers, how would you say it compares to the first film? It's not as good as the first film. As far as I'm concerned, it's basically a buddy road movie. Obviously, there's Jason Momoa co-wrote this, but a lot of the stuff that he wrote actually was binned and wasn't, and they had to rewrite the script. But I don't think it's as good a film as the first one. Test screenings are very difficult to judge because they're rough cuts and they're not the finished article. But it's definitely, and as I say, it's not finished. So it's a difficult thing to judge, Scott. I mean, test screenings are there so you can help them to see if they, if they're doing, if it's working. That's the point of test screenings. I don't think test screenings should even exist. I think in an industry of, industry professionals, they should know what they need to do. Make your movie. Stop reshooting. Stop rewriting. Make your movie. Stand by your movie. Stop reading what people are saying on Twitter and on YouTube. Make your damn movie. Let the creatives make the creative decisions. This is the problem with corporate Hollywood running the creative element of entertainment. They don't have a clue what a movie should be. Scott Edwards, Gal Gadot Wonder Woman is in the Flash. Is that a question or a statement, Scott? Charles Austin, that's the biggest problem with WB. They can't commit. There's a lot of problems with Warner Brothers. It's interesting because whoever owns them, whoever the leadership is, they seem to have the same problem. The Flash is all about taking what they had, redefining it, taking it somewhere else, recycling what Snyder had already did. Because basically, right, but imagine this, and I've said this many times, imagine after Batman versus Superman, if they made a statement along with Zack, look, we've got creative differences, we're going to go another direction, we're going to start again with DC, we're very proud of our work with Zack Snyder, but we want to go a different direction. End of. They start again, they bring in Joss Whedon and Jeff Johns to start again, right? No recycling, a brand new universe. I think by now they would have flourished, but also they had another decision. They could have allowed Snyder to finish what he started. But what you don't do is try and recycle somebody's work. And this is what the problem has been from day one. And again, with James Gunn's DC universe, they're basically stepping into a new universe, using some things from the DCEU and banning other stuff, like Gunn's already said, keeping the things that work, in his opinion, and keeping the things that don't work. But he's saying Henry Cavill's Superman. In other words, he's saying Henry Cavill's Superman doesn't work. Well, he works for a hell of a lot of the audience. Scott Edwards' statement. Was 007 Barbie and Nolan film released same day? I know I have no interest in the Barbie film. Was 007, what happens if Warner Brothers Discovery get that bankrupt? Well, many of the big studios are heading for bankruptcy. They're on their creative and financial needs. There's no avoiding that they're in trouble. That's why they're selling everything off to different streamers. So, yes, it's a possibility because Warner Brothers have made very few billion-dollar movies. They've lacked success for many, many years, and they've only got themselves to blame. John, I owe Wonder Woman recast. John, how well do you think Indiana Jones is going to do? I don't think he's going to do very well. I think the projections are for around the same as the Flash movie, around 60 to 70 million. So that's not great. Scott Edwards, are you going to watch Secret Invasion and the Marvels? I'm not interested in the Marvels. I probably will eventually give Secret Invasion a watch. DC Superman, yes, Mick, best part of my day. That's what the ladies say. What you're seeing here with this Flash movie is more of the same. And added to their problems is the Ezra Miller controversies as well. And by the way, Ezra Miller did actually do an interview. I saw it on YouTube yesterday. So he actually did speak at the Flash movie premiere. Now, like Access Media told us that wasn't going to happen. I mean, it was an okay interview. He spoke quite well. But you can tell he's a very damaged individual. Waz 007, news on Knight Rider film. No. DC Superfan, how's your day going, Mick, mate? Any DC Intel today? No, there's not much going on today, DC Superfan. There's no new news. We know that WB want Christopher Nolan back. We know that the Flash movie is released any day now. In some places in the world, it's already been released. There's lots of reviews out there. But no breaking big news. John, what did you think of the Wonder Woman cameo in Shazam 2? Shit, crap, cringe, outrageous, embarrassing. It just didn't work. It didn't feel like Wonder Woman. Now we know that Gal wasn't even there. They superimposed her with CG, something the director denied at the time. Waz 007, very sunny in England. I know. DC Superfan, cheers, mate. You are welcome. Everyone is welcome here to interact with me here on Movies TV Mad. We're a tiny, incy bit of a community, but we have a laugh. We talk about what we want to talk about, and that's the main thing. Scott Edwards, Shazam 2 was just okay. Shazam 2 was a betrayal of the first movie. The first movie was tight, it was emotional, it was fun, apart from that stupid headless cameo by Superman, but the rest of it was fucking brilliant. And they should have continued with Mr. Mind and Dr. Savannah. That would have been fun. Those Whaman villains, right, were crap. Absolutely crap. Rachel Zegler is the absolute worst. I don't know how she's going to pull off Snow White because she's one of the most overrated actors in Hollywood today. Yes, she can sing. So bloody what? Yeah, I'm not a fan of Shazam and Fury of the Gods. I didn't think it was a good movie. I think it was a betrayal of the first movie. And again, they got it wrong. Black Adam, failure. Shazam, Fury of the Gods, failure. You know, if you give the other films a pass because of COVID, you still got two back-to-back movies that have failed miserably. Both with The Rock's name on them, by the way. So, Scott Edwards, Black Adam was a good film. Black Adam was better than Shazam Fury of the Gods. And I actually thought Shazam Fury of the Gods would be better than Black Adam. But Black Adam is actually okay. It's not a particularly well-made movie. I thought the editing was terribly paced and all of that. But it was pretty good. And there were some good elements. Hawkman was great. Dr. Fate, their relationship was great. We didn't really have enough of a JSA there. But it was okay. They did what they needed to do, but it didn't make the money, and it was a very expensive film. John, did Superman 4 and Masters of the Universe come out in the same year? Yes, I believe they did. They both came out in 1987 by Canon Films. In fact, the director of Masters of the Universe, I think it was David Adele, had to pay for the film at the end just to get it finished because Canon were going bankrupt. I actually love Masters of the Universe. I love elements of Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. They took away the budget. They betrayed Chris's vision. it was very tragic that that was Chris's final movie, but you can find good moments in the movie. Christopher Reeve's performance is excellent, but yeah, I mean, they binned Lois Lane mostly, and they brought in a new, female protagonist because they believed that Margot was getting too old, or Christopher Reeve believed that, and that was a mistake, and Margot wasn't happy about that. Scott Edwards, is Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom the modern Superman 4? Well, it is the commentary that they're trying to do. That is the kind of thing they were attempting to do. Was 007 Masters of the Universe underrated film? Yeah. Courtney Cox is excellent. She's the star performer in the movie. Meg Foster as Evil Lynn. Frank Langella as Skeletor. The chef's kiss. There's a lot of good in that film. I mean, there's no Orko, I'm afraid. They did move away from what we love from the animated series, but it was good and I did enjoy it. Scott Edwards, Superman and Lois betrayed us Earth Prime fans. I'm not bothered though, Scott, because Arrowverse had many, many series. It was trying to move on from Arrowverse, and I think it was time to move away from Earth Prime. Superman and Lois is an outstanding Superman series and in its own right, and I agree with what they did. John, I really enjoyed Superman 3. It's a solid movie, isn't it, John? Charles Austin, I didn't go and see Shazam 2 for one reason. Zachary Levi wouldn't keep his damn mouth shut, shilling for Safran and Gunn. Yeah, he said they were mates and he was definitely going to stay with them in the DCU. I don't think that's going to happen now, is it? Yeah, listen, at the end of the day, these people are all the same. They can't keep their mouths shut. When I was growing up, I never heard a word from Robert De Niro or Al Pacino. They made their movies and they got on with their lives. That's what we want. We were down here, they were up there. We go, oh my God, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, aren't they amazing? Now we hate all these people because they're extremists, they're political, and they're the absolute worst. Was 007, I wish Matt made see Master of Universe 2. Yeah, we did get a post-credit scene, one of the first post-credit scenes of Skeletor coming out of the gunk and saying, I'll be back. And no, mate, you won't be back. But it was a great post-credit scene. But I do like Masters of the Universe. I think it's a very, very entertaining film. It doesn't all have to be Shakespeare. It doesn't all have to be Gladiator. But it's a very enjoyable film. And a lot better than a lot of the shit we're seeing today. Scott Edwards, are you excited to see Thrawn in live action? I am kind of. I mean, I'm happy if we just ever saw Thrawn in animation, I would have been happy. They did everything there. But I think it does lack imagination just to say, oh, I know, we'll turn animation into live action. It's like what Disney are doing with their fairy tale universe, right? Oh, I know, let's just make live action films. They're doing a Bambi film now. I mean, it's bad enough what they did with the last film, but these people lack imagination, don't they? John, the fight between Clark Kent and Superman 3 was great. Yes, that is the highlight of the film. It's not a perfect film. For example, Richard Pryor hated the flying sequences. He was absolutely scared of heights. He was an ex-boyfriend of Margot Kidder who played Lois Lane, and she explained that he hated it. And she didn't like the fact that they were using him as like kind of comedy instead of using him as a dramatic actor. But it was said when he was so afraid of the flying sequences, Christopher Reeve was a rock to him. And Chris was very, very supportive with Richard Pryor. And Richard Pryor really appreciated the love and support that Christopher Reeve gave him. What a gentleman. Scott Edwards, favourite Mandoverse characters? Baby Yoda? I don't know. I don't think I've taken any of them to my heart, to be honest. The guy played by the comedian, and I can never remember the comedian. He's basically very unpolitically correct. He always mocks women in his stand-up. Forgot his name. I like that guy. Scott Edwards. Bill Burr. I fucking love Bill Burr. I always see him on TikTok. That man is fucking hilarious. They need to use him again. Brilliant. I love Bill Burr. I find the man really, really funny. Smash a like on the like button if you like Bill Burr. I was about to say, where are my likes? I can't see my likes. I've got 5 likes, which is better than usual, which is pretty good. That's why I decided to set up the video early, set up a stream early to see if I can get some extra likes. Scott Edwards, do you like Katie Sackhoff and Rosario Dawson? I prefer Rosario Dawson. Ian, I do like Katie. I think she's a very good actor. I don't think her character has got enough personality or characterization to it, but I do like her normally. She was brilliant in 24. She was brilliant in Battlestar Galactica. She's a really good actor. DC Sigman, 6 likes now. Thank you, everyone. If you're new in the chat and you haven't smashed the like, please smash the like. After all, we are all DC fans. Kal-El, the last son of Krypton. I am humbled by your presence. Good evening, Mick. Good evening, Cal. It's very good. We have got Superman on the live chat. I am so damn honoured to have the last son of Krypton. It's about time we went back to the Fortress of Solitude as well. One of the things I don't like about the Snyderverse, and I like the Snyderverse, is we don't have a fortress. DC Superfan, Kathleen Kennedy is the death of Star Wars. The problem is, even if she goes, they're going to bring some other wokester in to run it. Until Disney don't own Lucasfilm, it's going to carry on being what it is. Scott Edwards, The Mandalorian series 1 to 3 make a good trilogy. Well, you know, art is subjective, Scott. Waz 007, I hit like. Thank you, DC Superfan, miserable old Ming. John, thoughts on Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith? Outstanding. I cry when Padme goes, Anakin, you're breaking my heart. Breaks my heart too, makes me cry. The whole film is outstanding. George Lucas is a genius. Don't listen to the haters. The prequels are great. I love all six George Lucas movies. I love the animated stuff by Filoni as well, especially Clone Wars. But the rest of it, the Disney shit, you can put it in the bin. Kal-El, it's my MOS anniversary today. Yes, it is the 10-year anniversary of Man of Steel. Scott Edwards, Mando Season 3 positives. Baby Yoda, Grogu, Scott Edwards. Oh, no, I've already read that. I think you're clutching at straws, mate, if you want me to be positive about Mando Season 3. Star Wars, for me, is 6 movies from George Lucas and the animated stuff from Filoni. The rest of it, as I said, you can put it in the bin. That isn't going to change, by the way, Scott, no matter how many times you ask me. Kal-El, I'm going to see The Flash tonight. I hope I'm not disappointed. Well, I'm very excited for you to see it. I hope you enjoy it. And as I said to Ronnie Dodge earlier on today's DC Universe Daily, please tag me on Twitter or on here. Speak to me on here. Let me know your thoughts about the movie. I want genuine thoughts. I don't want any agenda. If you're a Snyderverse stan, I don't want hatred for hatred's sake. I want you to go there, leave your package at the front door, and see what you get from the movie. That's how you consume a movie. That's how you can talk about a movie accurately afterwards. Scott Edwards, the action sequences, performances. Scott Edwards, are you going to watch Skeleton Crew? No. I have no intention of watching that shit, Scott. No intention whatsoever. You have to tell me what it's like. Kal-El, I'm going in open-minded and will judge on its merits. Absolutely. That's the best thing to do, Cal. The best thing. Go, if you're going to pay money, there's no point going in there and spoiling it for yourself and going, I hope it's because they sacked Henry Cavill or Zack Snyder's not involved anymore. We got 3 Snyder movies. They're a work of art. This is what they did. It isn't going to continue the Flash movie. That's obvious. Go see it. I think you will be entertained by it. You know, and you know, what can I say? What can I say? It is what it is. This is the entertainment industry we are consuming today. Charles Austin, Kal-El, sir, Scott Edwards, but you'll watch Ashoka. I'll watch the first episode and see what it's like. Kal-El, Charles Austin. All I could do with some wine. I do have some beer in the fridge. Let's do it for our country. Our country wants us to. It's Uncle Sam who's asking. Name the movie. I bet you don't know that song from a movie. Who's that guy? Where did he come from? Who's that guy? Scott Edwards, I love everything Star Wars except sequel trilogy. I don't like the Disney stuff. I don't mind the Force Awakens in places. I think it's better than The Last Jedi and the third movie. I don't like the Disney stuff. It isn't Star Wars. It's an absolute betrayal. They didn't allow George to do his sequel trilogy. They're a bunch of pricks, and I'm not interested, Scott. And no matter how many times you mention it or talk about the Disney Star Wars, I'm going to tell you the same stuff. Doesn't interest me. It's boring. Now, whoever likes it can like it. I'm not a dictator. I don't get to tell you what you enjoy. I'm not going to tell you it's universally shit. But for me, from my POV, it is shit and it doesn't interest me, right? I grew up with good stuff, with good shit. It wasn't all good. There was some bad stuff made when I grew up. But even the bad stuff was somewhat entertaining. That's the difference. Scott Edwards and Resistance. I think the animated stuff isn't too bad, what they've done. But look, at the end of the day, it isn't great. It isn't great Star Wars, what they've done. They've lost money. They spent a lot of money on Star Wars at the end of the day. And they're not getting their money back. We thought the $2 billion for Force Awakens was a great start. And the thing, kind of the sign of things to come. But it wasn't. It was downhill from thereafter. John, did you see any of the series Picard? I think I watched the first episode, but I lost interest after that. I mean, I do admire Star Trek, but I'm not a big Trekkie. So I know the third season pleased lots of fans, but then that showrunner started attacking the fans, so I couldn't be bothered with him. Scott Edwards, Ashoka makes modern Star Wars for me. Great character. We'll watch anything with her involved. Like everything, Scott, it's not just about who's involved. It's got to be good. I won't watch something and say, well, good characters in it. It has to be done properly. Just because Ahsoka was great. Personally, I think I would have preferred Ashley Eccleston to be transferred to live action. She is the voice of Ahsoka as far as I'm concerned. Kal-El, I've heard of a controversial gun interview with the Smallville Lex throwing jabs at Jesse Eisenberg. I'm yet to watch this interview. Did you? Yes, I did. I'm a big fan of Michael Rosenbaum. He is the greatest Lex Luthor. He never mentioned Jesse Eisenberg. He did say if you do have a Lex Luthor, hopefully you're going to make him gritty, relatable. You're not going to make him a madman, a lunatic. And, maybe Michael was referring to Jesse, but he didn't directly refer to Jesse. But Snyderverse stands have got to stop this because bullying Michael Rosenbaum isn't going to work. Michael Rosenbaum is the best Lex Luthor. He was great. He was brilliant. And Michael Rosenbaum did a really good job. And I think going in on Michael Rosenbaum isn't the best of ideas because it isn't like when the Snyderverse attack other people. This is Michael Rosenbaum. This is not a clown. This is a very good man. And people love him. And attacking him isn't going to work out for the Snyderverse stands who do it. Kal-El, I love Jesse portrayal straight off the Birthright page. I like Jesse Eisenberg's performance. It's a different version of Lex Luthor. I wouldn't have personally cast Jesse as Lex Luthor, but I liked what he did, and it's okay. But it isn't, if you ask me my favorite version of Lex Luthor, it's absolutely Michael Rosenbaum from Smallville. That just feels cathartic. It's just brilliantly done. And it works as a story, and you understand the character, and you understand where he's coming from. And it's a very different, it's not comic book accurate at all. Because this Lex Luthor doesn't hate Superman, doesn't hate Clark Kent. They have a friendship, and in the end, in the fortress, as it comes down, he stays there with Clark. He says, I love you like a brother, but it has to end this way. It's very different. But yeah, for me, he is the best Lex Luthor. For me, that isn't even a debate. But I like what Eisenberg did, but it isn't everyone's cup of tea. It isn't a popular version of him. Even like DC fans don't really like Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor. You don't see people attacking people who don't like the Gene Hackman version of Lex Luthor. At the end of the day, you've got to love what you love and allow people to have their opinions. And it was just an interview. No one was trying to smite Jesse Eisenberg. Jesse Eisenberg is one of the great actors of this generation. Scott Edwards, but we would probably watch any new live action DC content with the hope that it would be good. Got to give things a chance. Listen, Scott, I've explained to you already, and it doesn't matter what angle you come in at this, is at the end of the day, Disney Star Wars isn't very good. But, for example, Ahsoka, I will watch the first episode. If I like it, I will carry on. If it was DC, it'd be the same thing. I would watch a film, and if I didn't like it, I'd say I'd like it. But there's certain things you know that are going to be bad. So I know Skeleton Crew isn't going to be for me. It doesn't even feel like Star Wars. So I'm not interested in watching it. I'm not interested in watching The Acolyte. I'm not just going to watch stuff just because it's Star Wars. Now, if I hear of something DC that's coming up and I think I'm just not going to touch it because I know it's going to be shit, then I won't touch it. I don't just blindly consume stuff, right? I'm 50 years old. My time's running out. I'm not just going to be a slave of, this new Hollywood that don't, at the end of the day, they're incompetent. And I'm not just going to watch. I'm not going to be faithful to trillion-dollar companies. That's not how it works, Scott. Was 007 Jesse better play Riddler or Joker instead, Lex? Well, a lot of people felt that he was like a bit like the Riddler. I just thought he was a good Lex Luthor, but nowhere near the best. Kalel, please read Birthright. Was 007 did you watch Young Justice cartoon? I did. I love the Young Justice animated series. Yes. Charles Austin, Kalel, real talk. Well, here's the thing. I like Jesse Eisenberg, but I will repeat it. For me, Michael Rosenbaum is the best Lex. And the Snyder fans need to understand that. You can love Jesse Eisenberg. You can say he's the best Lex. That's for you. It's like when I hear people saying Henry Cavill is the best Superman. For you, he's the best Superman. For other people, he's not. And that's okay. It's subjective. Art is subjective. You can't universally say something's the best. For me, Michael Rosenbaum's the best Lex Luthor. And Jesse Eisenberg did a good job. That's how I see it. You can't demand that everyone thinks the Snyder stuff is the best. That's not how it works. Whereas 007 Lex was great in Young Justice, he really was. I think the animated Lex, when we have seen him, has probably been the real best Lex, especially in the Superman animated series. I think the problem is with some of the Snyderverse community, they demand that everyone loves what they love. And that's the problem. Just because you love something, right? It doesn't mean everyone has to like it. And that's okay. Hello. Jesse is known for playing two roles in movies. His Lex would have developed to the bald-headed Lex everyone knows. BVS was a birth of Lex story. I know what it was, but I still don't think his Lex is as good as Michael Rosenbaum's in Smallville. And obviously, I haven't seen what they were going to do with him. I thought he was really, really good in the movie. Jesse did his part. He delivered a great performance. Jesse Eisenberg is one of the great indie actors, no question. But that version of Lex isn't for everyone. Scott Edwards, is it bad I'm a defender to the death of Mandoverse? No, because, as I say, art is subjective. You can like it. It doesn't mean everyone else has to. That's what subjectivity is. And this is the kind of problem that we have today. Kal-El, remember Lex from Lois and Clark series? Yes, he wasn't my cup of tea, but the fans of that show, and it was a very popular show, liked that Lex. That's okay. It's subjective. People have the right to like what they like. It's very important that people don't say, well, I like this, that means it's the best. That's the kind of social media kind of thing we have today. Everyone's jumping on James Gunn again after his interview talking about Lex Luthor. You've got to allow people to have their opinions. Your opinion can't be everyone's opinion. Kal-El, I love that show to be at the time, to be fair. Scott Edwards, Jude Law fan. Yes, I like Jude Law. He started off in the soap opera Families. Waz 007, I enjoy like Lois and Clark show. Yes. I mean, it wasn't my cup of tea. It was a romantic comedy. It wasn't for me, but a lot of people did like Dean Cain. And Terry Hatcher was absolutely fantastic. Lane Smith as Perry White. Lane Smith, who started off in Vida series as Nathan Bates. So very, very good actor. And definitely for some people, very, very good, probably the best Perry White. He's not my favourite Perry White, but a lot of people liked him. Waz 007, I like Henry Cavill and Dean Cain. Henry Cavill, Christopher Reeve, Brandon Routh, Tom Welling, Tyler Hoechlin, all great Supermen as far as I'm concerned. I don't have a best or a worst and all this shit. You know, like Chris Reeve was my first Superman. He's a great Superman. Brandon's a great Superman. Tom's a great Clark Kent. I don't think you have to basically pass them off against each other. Squid Edwards, Mary Elizabeth Winstead is playing Hera in Ashoka. I know, and she was in Birds of Prey, wasn't she? Hollywood's funny. They use the same people. They pretend they're all for inclusion, but they only use the same actors. Waz Douglas, I wish C. Dean Cain returned for Superman. Well, who knows? He made cameo in Superman Legacy. James Gunn has teased that he's going to respect what's gone in the past with Superman. So we will see. This is Movies TV Mad. We're having our live chat as we have been doing all this week. We're building up to the Flash movie release. There's going to be huge opinions. Some people are going to love it. Some people are going to hate it. How's the box office going to do? Projections and analysts on Twitter are saying it's not going to do very well with the general audience, but it will do well with DC fans and comic book nerds. Will that be enough? No, it won't. Because when you delve into nostalgia as deeply as they have, you're basically the general audience are gonna, say no. What's the difference between Spider-Man No Way Home and the Flash movie? Spider-Man No Way Home is part of a franchise that the general audience loved. Let's just say that. It took its time, it built out its universe, and it earned the right to do a multiversal Spider-Man movie. And they didn't overuse the iconic Spider-Man. They only turned up near the third act. This was Tom Holland's film. It was a great story. It was his. So that's the difference. And that's why the Flash movie isn't going to make Spider-Man No Way Home money. It hasn't earned the right to do that. Waz 007, I like CD Kane play Jonathan Kent for Superman Legacy. Cal's just laughing to himself. I don't really understand what he's doing. Waz 007, have fun question, Mick. How run DC films? How would I run DC films? First of all, there would be no soft reboot. There would be no new timeline using the DCEU or the Flash movie. I would start from scratch and I would start again. And all you can really do is start off with a movie that pretty much leads into the world building of your new universe, whether it's Superman, whether it's the Green Lantern core kind of universe, whether it's Wonder Woman, whatever you decide to go with first, you need to introduce that world. And for me, I would build out a ready-made DC universe, a ready-made Batman universe, a ready-made, Hall of Justice, Watchtower, a ready-made Justice League. Everything would already be there. And that's how I would do it. Kal-El, Scott's spelling mistake, lol. Yeah, probably let's not make fun of people who make spelling mistakes, yeah? Probably not very nice. Coming from someone like me who suffers with dyslexia, it isn't cool. I know you were just having a laugh, but yeah, let's not do that. Scott Edwards, isn't that what Gunn is doing, though? Well, we don't really know what Gunn is doing, right? We think that's what he's doing, but we don't know. He hasn't exactly explained himself properly, so we don't know. Kal-El, no, it wasn't meant to be offensive. I understand it wasn't. No, I get that. So, Scott, we don't really know what James Gunn's plans are. We just know he's making a Superman movie. He's been teasing All-Star Superman, but we don't really know what he's going to do. As I say, in the end, the talk will have to stop. He'll have to make his film. He'll have to develop his universe. He'll have to do his world building, and he'll be judged on that. This is a very big moment, live or die moment for James Gunn. He spoke a good game. He's made enemies out of the Snyderverse fans by getting rid of Cavill. So now he has to put his money where his mouth is. Let's see if he's the real deal that he certainly thinks that he is. Scott Edwards, DC makes great animated movies. It does. Was 007. Nolan was not too happy, George Miller, because used Batman for his Justice League film. George Miller didn't make a Justice League film. It was going to happen, but it never happened. Kal-El, they should learn from the animated division. Well, for me, Bruce Timm did it exactly how you would like to see a live-action DC universe. And competent people would have got Bruce Timm years ago to lead a live-action DC universe. But as I say, these haven't been good, arbitrators of DC. They haven't looked after DC properly, WB. And they don't deserve to own DC, as far as I'm concerned. Kal-El, George Miller is an amazing director. He is. That's probably why we won't see him ever make a Justice League movie. He's too good. Charles Austin, yes, sir. Scott Edwards, do you think Moff Gideon is a good bad guy? No, I think he's a pantomime villain. I don't think much of him. He makes me laugh. But yeah, I mean, it's a bit like Alan Bastard from The New Statesman. Was 007, yes, George Miller Justice League film get cancelled back in 2009? That is correct. They never made it. I mean, WB have cancelled so much stuff. There was the J.J. Abrams written Superman movie, right? Which was never made. There was Tim Burton's Superman Lives. There's been a lot of cancellations. They were going to do a lot of stuff. They were going to do Superman Man of Steel, which was going to be the sequel to Superman Returns, which got cancelled after the 2008 writer's strike. So there's been a lot of cancelled shit. Let's see if James Gunn and Safran can do a better job. Not forgetting that Safran has already been at DC. His company already produced DC movies, which haven't done too well. So let's see, when they're running things, if they can make them better. The floor is theirs. They can turn people around. They can make DC great. They have that opportunity. Let's see if they'll take it. I don't know. Kal-El, Aquaman is a Safran project. Shazam is a Safran project. Lots of things have been projects. He hasn't had any creative control over those films, though, Cal. Scott Edwards, Gunn already confirmed Lost Kingdom to release back in January in his video presentation. Yes, but things change very quickly, Scott. We're not in January anymore. We're nearly in July. And he didn't mention, did he, what universe that film's going to be in? He mentioned Blue Beetle. Let's see. Since January, they've had bad test screenings, bad reactions. We will see, my friend. We will see. January was a very long time ago. Over 6 months ago now, Scott. Things change very quickly in this industry. We will see. We will see. Because if they're going to market a film that's going to lose money, I don't see the point. I really don't. They spent a lot of money marketing The Flash. They've spent a lot of money, getting this one and that one to say they've seen it and they loved it. Is it going to work? I don't think it is. Scott Edwards, it's going to piss off a lot of people if they don't release it. But a lot of people probably aren't going to go and see it, Scott. That's the point. Where's 007? I like to see Nightwing film. That would be cool. That would be cool. We will see what they do and what they don't do. What they don't do will be even more interesting than what they do. Scott Edwards, you think because of Amber? I think because they think they're not going to make any money on it. I think they're wasting their time. I think they think that film is a dead loss. I think they're just not going to make money. Kal-El, the Flash marketing has been ridiculous. It's everywhere. You have money on the marketing. There's no excuses this time. Not that I think good marketing can save a movie. It's not hypnosis. That's what people don't understand. Where's 007? Have you seen Nightwing fan film? It released YouTube back to 2004. No, I haven't, no. because we're back in this position again with DC. We get new leadership. We have to wait and see. We have to give them another chance. I said this morning. It's just frustrating. How many more times? Now I have to wait for a Superman film, and we have to see what that's like. Then I have to see Creature Commandos and see what that's like. It's just another waiting game, and it's all rather frustrating, if you ask me. Scott Edwards, I mean, do you think one of the main reasons they worried the film might bomb is because of Amber? Well, that's one of the reasons. That's obvious. You don't even need me to tell you that. But, you know, I think there's going to be other issues creatively with that film. It's not just about Amber, but I think they feel that that movie is a dead loss. And if they think it's a dead loss, they're not going to waste their time, because these films being released have nothing to do with the future. So they're pointless, because, you know, these are part of a connected universe. What Gunn is planning is going to be part of a separate, connected universe. So it's all a waste of time. The releases this year have been an entire waste of time, as they always were going to be. The DCEU failed. I mean, I like a lot of films in the DCEU. I love Man of Steel. I love BVS. I love Suicide Squad. I love Wonder Woman. I love Aquaman. Shazam's solid. Black Adam's okay, but it's been a bad franchise. It hasn't worked as a franchise at the end of the day. Hasn't worked. No matter what you feel about Snyder or this one or that one, it hasn't worked. It's been an absolute disaster. And, you know, financially, it's been a disaster. It hasn't made money. It hasn't made enough money. Even the Snyder films didn't make enough money for them. So, you know, they need to put it to bed and they need to move on. West Ableson, was Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck supposed in Aquaman Lost Kingdom? Well, this is what Momoa was hinting. We had the whole ridiculous situation of Affleck in the trailer with Momoa. Remember that big picture, that big tease? Who knows what's going on? I don't get it. I really don't get it. I think if they don't shelve the movie, they may use what I saw with Keaton in the movie. They may also use what I didn't see of Affleck in that movie. They may use it like they've done with The Flash and made it nostalgia bait. They may try and do the same thing again. Imagine if Henry Cavill was in the Flash movie, how much better that movie would have been. How can you tread in Man of Steel, right? How can you celebrate the Snyderverse as they claim they're doing, but not have Henry Cavill, the lead of the film that launched the very universe you're closing out? What a shame. Scott Edwards, Clooney might be in Lost Kingdom now. Do you know what, Scott? That wouldn't fucking surprise me. You make a good point. But nobody's really asking to see George Clooney. That's the problem. I don't know what Gunn thought he was doing there. Clearly, it's typical Gunn humor. And I mean, it's doing, look, I've dumped you in the Clooney universe. That's how bad you are, Ezra Miller. You're dumped in the Clooney universe. I mean, listen, that's James Gunn. James Gunn has the power to do these things. Charles Austin, Clooney in Lost Kingdom would be hilarious and not in a good way. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing that he is in the Flash movie either. He ain't a popular version of Batman. Why would you do it? Apart from to stick a finger up at Ezra Miller, which is exactly what they're doing. I mean, the post-credit film in let me get my words out. The post-credit scene in the Flash movie isn't very good either. Charles Austin, no, Val Kilmer is a more popular Batman. Yeah, unfortunately, we can't use Val. Very, very ill. They just about did it and got away with it with Top Gun Maverick. I'm glad to see him. He's a great lad, but we would have. I mean, I think they probably would have done it if he was more healthy. Charles Austin, Clooney even admitted he was basically phoning his performance in. Listen, Clooney was just cast because he was popular at the time. He was the darling. ER was the biggest show on TV. He was getting loads of movies at the time. Quentin Tarantino loved him, and he did a lot of stuff. He was never Batman, but he was popular. Cavill in the Flash, with all this marketing, would result in a push for the continuation of Cavill's story even more. But Gunn ended that. That's why he did. He knew by having Cavill in that movie. But let's be clear, Walter Hamada also didn't have Cavill in the movie. The rumor is Adby and DeLuca were going to do something with Cavill in the Flash movie, and they were outvoted by Gunn. I don't know if that's true, but the original plan was for Henry Cavill not to be in that movie. That's the point. Where's 007? Rumor if Batman and Robin was hit, George Clooney to deal with play Batman. Well, if it was a hit, but it wasn't a hit, so it's not relevant, is it? If water wasn't wet, we wouldn't need towels, but water is wet, so we do need towels. Water is wet, and so it should be. How dare you say water isn't wet? I'm offended. It's a weird time to be a fan of entertainment. Waz 007, is Adam West in the Flash film? No comment. Do you know what? I can't even remember. It was such a long time when I watched the test screenings, I can't remember. Scott Edwards will spoil it for you, yes. It's funny because they didn't use Grant Gustin, did they? I think that this film proves one thing. We've got to stop the cameos. We've got to stop the Easter eggs and make original movies with original stories, with original ideas. And I think the nostalgia is because they don't know, they don't have a clue. But it will be interesting to see how people receive the Flash and what kind of money it makes. Because at the end of the day, the biggest evidence of a film, whether a film's good or not, and people liked it, is if it makes money. The reviews don't prove quality. Rotten Tomatoes audience scores or professional critic scores don't prove quality. That's opinion. But if people put their money down and keep on going to watch something, then you know it's something that people liked. Kello, I have never been a fan of Gunn prior to the Suicide Squad and him becoming head of DC. I won't support his DCU and I won't disrespect those that do, but I'm out. Waz 007, DC need multiverse film with Henry Cavill, Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck, George Clooney, and Nick Cage and Adam West and Chris Reese. Well, Adam West is dead, so imagine you even see George Reeves' Superman in the Flash movie, but you don't see Grant Gustin's Flash. Scott Edwards, will you review Ahsoka for the channel? Maybe. Gunn will probably attempt to bring back Cavill in 10 years for that Keaton type nostalgia bait. Well, Henry Cavill may be in Superman Legacy as another version of Superman. Who knows what he's planning? Waz 007, that use of CGI at Adam West. Yes, CGI has been a bit of an Achilles heel of modern day movies, and the CGI is being, people are not happy with the computer generated images in the Flash movie, calling it clunky, calling it this, calling it that. So we will see. I haven't seen the finished movie yet. I will judge the CGI for myself. Now, I know that Helen Slater and Christopher Reeve cameo in the Flash movie. I've seen a picture of that on Twitter, and I wasn't very happy with the CGI. It looked very, very ropey to me. It didn't look real. And if that's the kind of like VFX they're using, I mean, it isn't great. Kal-El, is that picture a real Mick? Well, I know they're in it. I definitely know they're in the movie. So I'm assuming people are finding, I think that picture is real. Callow, I hope not. What the fuck? You clearly know what picture I'm talking about. I saw Will Rowling, the Snyderverse fan, post it earlier. It looked fake. I hope it's not real, but to me, I think it is real. I think it's taken straight from the film. Because I'm seeing a lot of stuff from the film, because I've seen the film posted on Twitter. So I haven't seen the final edit of the film, by the way, but I've seen the test screening. So yeah, it doesn't look great. I mean, look, the thing is that's substandard CGI. That bit in the desert in the Flash movie we keep on seeing with Supergirl and the two versions of the Flash, that isn't. That's your presentation. No film these days should have bad presentation. I remember in the 60s and 70s and 80s, I could see the mic on the top of the screen because that's how things were done back then, and you excused them because they didn't have kind of, you know, the wherewithal to make clean movies and clean things. But now there's no excuses. Your presentation should be absolutely fantastic. Your editing should be on cue. They've got all the technology. One thing that should be great these days in a movie is VFX, and it's getting worse and worse and worse in a lot of productions. And there is no excuse today with the technology out there and these directors, you know, their speciality being VFX because they're new age directors, right? There's no excuse for bad presentation. And the Flash movie, reportedly, and what I'm seeing, has bad presentation. We spoke about Man of Steel, a 10-year-old movie that looks more revolutionary than the Flash movie does because the director has pride in his work. And that's the difference. Scott Edwards, you think there will be an Arrowverse continuation someday? I very much doubt it. There may be some cameos in the new DC universe from James Gunn. I think he will heavily lean into the multiverse as well. So there's every chance, but yeah, I don't know. I think, Scott, the way I look at your Arrowverse, you had 8 seasons of Arrow. You had 9 seasons of The Flash. You had 4 seasons of Legends of Tomorrow. 3 or 4 seasons of that. 4 seasons of Supergirl. You had a lot of stuff, my friend. You got more out of Arrowverse than we did out of Smallville. So I don't really see how anyone can complain that it's all ended now. It had to end sometime. You went on longer than probably the franchise deserved to. Scott Edwards, will you watch the Mandoverse movie? It depends what I see in the marketing. If I like the look of it in the marketing, yes. If I see it's woke and crap and it puts down my gender, I'm not interested. I'm not going to spend my money to be put down just because I've got a dangly bit between my legs, right? You know, that's not the, as I say, I'm 50 years old. I need to spend my time wisely because my time is running out. I could have a year left, 2 years left, 10 years left, whatever. I'm not just going to sit there just because the entertainment industry are trying to shame me into watching their shit. They're trillion-dollar companies. They're all millionaires. They're all rich. I would rather right now re-watch my favorite films and favorite TV shows than waste my time on this new shit. I'd rather re-watch Lost, 24, Smallville, and all the great stuff that I grew up with, rather than watching a bunch of shit that insults my gender and my intellect. That's where I am today. Waz, why not use Grunt? Because Grant's the show. You mean Grant Gustin? Waz 007. Arrowverse was great. Waz 007. I hope Mick long life. Thank you, Waz. Thank you. I hope I have a long life as well. But who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Maybe I'm immortal. Maybe I'll live forever. Maybe I won't. We will see. JPG time, how's Secret Invasion review faring? Well, the Shills are saying it's great, the ones who went to the advanced screenings, as they always do. I'm not particularly interested in the MCU anymore. I may watch the first episode, but yeah, it's all very positive. It's mostly always positive for the MCU because it's always Shield, isn't it? Scott Edwards, I think the Mandoverse has been respectful to Star Wars overall. It's been okay. Nothing special. Nothing special. It's not memorable. It's disposable. This is the problem today, Scott. It's all disposable entertainment, not classic entertainment. And this has been a problem before streaming as well, from the early noughties, in cinematically as well. We're getting a lot of disposable, forgettable entertainment. I grew up with stuff that became instant classic. Terminator, Alien, RoboCop, Ghostbusters, Gremlins, the Goonies. These were automatic classics. The Accused, Silence of the Lambs, Ghost, Born on the 4th of July, Casualties of War. I grew up in an era where titans of industry were making great shit. They swapped titans of industry for untalented extremists screaming, "Down with the patriarchy!" This is the lunacy we find ourselves in today. We are passionate geeks and nerds. We want to spend our money on great entertainment. They have the technology now to give us any fantasy they want to give us, and they ruin with the culture war, with extremism. This is where we are. We're ready to give them our money, but they hate us because we're blokes. They hate us because we're straight white male, and they don't want us watching entertainment. They want the people who are not willing to spend their money to come in and watch their entertainment instead of us. And it's not working for them. Waz007, Mick, do you believe multiverse in real life? Do I believe there's a multiverse in the real life? In real life. I believe in infinite possibilities. So I'm not going to say factually, definitely, but I would say it is feasible that there is a multiverse out there. Right now, there could be another version of me. He could be a billionaire. He could be shagging the best women. He could be doing alternate parallel Scarlett Johansson, and then be doing alternate parallel Natalie Portman, then the cheerleader from Heroes. I believe, but I believe that I believe in infinite possibilities, that anything's possible. I believe I believe that our universe is teeming with life. I think there are, when you go out there, there's universes beyond universes. I think that's been proven. We just can never see them. There is infinite possibilities. I believe it's possible to be invisible. I think it's impossible for someone to fly, to have powers. I think if we used more percentage of our brains, we would be more powerful than we are today. So I believe in infinite possibilities. I'm not saying definitely, but I never say this could never happen, because I don't have the knowledge to tell you that that's not possible or that's not possible. So I do believe in infinite possibilities. I always have. Waz007, a lot of Hollywood films flopped last year and the same here this year. Yes, that's true. Waz007, Ghost Hollywood remake back in the 90s. Yeah, they're doing a Ghost remake. No, thank you. I won't be watching your woke shit. Kal-El, Bollywood, just like Hollywood, has changed for the worst. Yeah, do you remember when Bollywood was pioneering? Now it's shit. And this is what happens. As I keep on saying, empires are destroyed from within. Scott Edwards, DC, you consider Crisis on Infinite Earths was proper conclusion to the Arrowverse. I think it's as much of a conclusion than you're ever going to get. So yes. Scott Edwards, did you ever see Love and Thunder? No. Reno Jack, good day, Mick. Good evening to Reno Jack. Great to have you on the live show here on Movies TV Mad. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're having ourselves a bit of an evening here. We've had some chats, we've had some likes, we've had some conversations. It's been pretty good. I'm loving it. Kal-El, Bollywood had beautiful cinema, and now it's nothing but Fast X type movies. Yeah, this is what happens. Cheap and lazy. It's easy. Waz007, I believe that multiverse out maybe other me is actor. You never know. Anything's possible. Maybe you wouldn't want to be an actor. Maybe being an actor isn't as good as you think it would be. Maybe being famous isn't as fun as you think it could be. Believe you me, I know people in the industry. I know successful people. They're not exactly loving life. They have no privacy. They go out. They're recognized. Everyone's got an opinion of them. They're always second guessing themselves. It's not the life you think it is. being a successful influencer, a successful personality on the internet with 40k subscribers and things. It's not what you think it's going to be. They still have to wash behind their ears, and that's what I'd say about that. Scott Edwards, so you were 30 when Smallville came out. I was 28 when Smallville first came out. Reno Jack, thoughts on the Roadhouse remake with Jane Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor, lol. No, thank you. Loads of shit. Won't be touching that either. Waz 007, Bollywood gone right wing now. Scott Edwards, have you trained in... Scott Edwards, have you trained in dialects? What dialects you talking about? I mean, I know many languages, if that's what you're asking me. I'm a well-travelled geezer. Yes, yes, yes. I'm a fully trained actor. Actor, fully trained. A great actor, Spets. Reno Jack, do you think Matt Reeves' Batman 2 will be affected much by the writer's strike? Everything's being affected by the writer's strike because anything that's in production, even if it's been written, if you're a kind of director who likes to rewrite stuff on the go, you can't do that. A lot of these productions are respecting the industrial action and stopping production anyway, Reno. So absolutely, everything is being affected. There's nothing that can be done about that. We have to be patient. The last writer's strike lasted for around 100 days, and I think we're looking at least that. And this writer's strike has more complex issues. It's not just about giving them more money. Scott Edwards, favorite acting technique? Well, I don't really have a favorite acting technique. I appreciated learning them all, but at the end of the day, you've got to go with your gut. Acting is about a gut feeling. You learn your scripts, you learn what you've got to do. You have to understand the mentality of your character, and then you have to go with it using your own emotions and experiences. It's your own understanding. It's subjective, and how you look at a character, how you perform a character, how you see a character. So all that's great, Scott. But at the end of the day, when you've got to play a part, it's down to you at the end of the day. And you're not really going to use that stuff, but it's there. It helps you. It helps you give you your experience that you need. Waz 007, Roadhouse inspired by Bollywood film Fight Club back in 2006. Waz 007, Mick, do you have a dream role? I don't really. I mean, as a kid, I grew up wanting to be Bond, and this one and that one. I mean, in terms of iconic roles, I don't have an iconic role I'd like to play. I like to play damaged human beings. I like to play flawed human beings. Someone like me, flawed like me, just someone who can relate to people watching more than anything. But in terms of iconic characters, I think Sherlock Holmes would be a lot of fun because he's very interesting. I loved the House series with Hugh Laurie. I'd love to play a really damaged character like that. But playing flawed characters, not necessarily villains, but flawed characters, is the biggest challenge for an actor, or trying to be funny, trying to be doing comedy. Comedy is really, really difficult to do. It's easier to be serious than to be funny. I can tell you that. Waz 007, my dream role play superhero or James Bond. Kal-El, Korninsky method. I'd love to be in 24, by the way, if he ever came back. Scott Edwards, favourite character in North and South, 1985-1986. Oh, North and South, the classic miniseries with Patrick Swayze. Great stuff. Favourite character. I loved O'Kane O'Bent. Who remembers O'Kane O'Bent? He was a villain. He was fucking ruthless. My name's Okino Bent, and she's a whore. I won't say the other thing, obviously, because it's really offensive. She's a whore. She's a Southern starlet whore. I loved North and South. It was brilliant and very emotional and very well done. Great novels by John Jakes. Most of you won't even know what I'm talking about. And I love the theme tune by Bill Conti. Na 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 na. Classic. I'm very old, so I am versed in a lot of entertainment that you guys have never heard of, but great stuff. We grew up with some brilliant stuff. I loved watching the American soaps. Scott Edwards, Philip Carsenoff did a great job playing Ben. We all loved Okano Bent as kids, Scott. We really did. We loved the villains. We loved JR. We loved Okano Bent. We loved the baddies, because they were funny. Because back these days, we don't see great villains like that. Scott Edwards, yet one property we can agree on. WAS 007, India Remake 24. It starred Anil Kapoor, who was original 24. Yes, Mr. Kapoor was brilliant in, was it day 6 of 24, was it? He was very, very good. Or was it? No, it wasn't day. It was with Cherry Jones as president, wasn't it? Which was, where are we? 24 day 7. Yeah, day 7 or day 8, I think. Maybe day 8. In the end, they cut his head off, didn't they, in the end? That was bad, mate. Yeah, I didn't know they did their own version. Scott Edwards, you ever see Blue and the Grey? No. Blue Beetle Animator, good evening. Hey, everybody, I'm a little late to the party. Yes, but you got here eventually, which is the main thing. This is Movies TV Mad. At the moment, I'm here live twice a day. In the morning for the DC Universe Daily, our magazine show, where I update you with all the DC news and react to that news. And we've got a very special event. We've got the Flash movie coming out. Everyone's going to have their opinions, and I'm here to talk to people about what they think about the movie. I want to be in the center of the reaction to this movie. This was Walter Hamada's big plan to create a new timeline. And we're not going to see what he had planned. And so we lost what Snyder had planned, and now we've lost what Walter Hamada had planned. And maybe, if it doesn't work out, we'll lose what James Gunn had planned. And we may go down this road for the next 20 years until we're old and grey. Scott Edwards, when are you going to see The Flash? Hopefully tomorrow. Maybe not. It might be Friday or Saturday. I'm not quite sure. WAS 007, Anil Kapoor play Invisible Man in Mr. India. Film Goblin, do you think WB will sold off again anyways? Yes, I think that's the direction we're heading for. Reno Jack, what is your prediction for how the Flash movie will do at the box office? Well, the analysts are telling us that this movie, now long-range projections, Reno, started off at 115 to 145 domestic opening weekend. Brilliant. That's around what James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy did. That would have been amazing, around 300 million globally. That's not going to happen now, according to projections. Now, the accurate projections started off saying a soft 70 million opening domestically. Now they're going from 68 to 80 million opening. They don't seem to really know what this movie is going to do. So, very interesting times indeed. We will see, but I don't have an idea. Now, I'm as confused as the projections are. I don't know. I would like to think that this movie is going to make more money than is being projected, but I can't put my hand on my heart. There's a lot of people who think they know everything. Your Botox, etc., etc. They all think they know everything, or they want to pretend that they're experts, right? But there's times in life where we're a bit stumped and we think, I thought this film was going to be very successful. But I suppose looking back at it now, considering the past 5 movies have flopped, why should this one be any different, especially with the Ezra Miller situation as well? So, Blue Beetle Animator, it could probably go either way. Yes, I agree. It could either be a disaster and make less than what they're projecting, or do really well. Who knows? Film Goblin, I was starting to think Cavill decided not to come back after he saw what Gunn was planning and is why he didn't sign a new contract. It makes sense. Maybe something happened. Something happened. Either Gunn said, like he said officially, I'm not using Henry Cavill. It sounded like his decision. Or maybe Henry Cavill said, you know what? This isn't for me, what you're doing. Maybe. Who knows? We'll never know. But it does sound believable that Gunn wanted to start again and do his own thing. Who knows? Where's 007? Film Goblin. Do know Paul. Blue Beetle animator. Maybe the performance of the Flash movie will influence the decision to shelve Aquaman 2. I agree. Because if they can't sell this movie, they can't sell Blue Beetle or Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. But they've got a better chance of selling Blue Beetle now that Gunn has told us it's the first foray into the DC universe. But it was always going to be part of a new timeline under Hamada. So I don't think this film really tries to interconnect with the rest of any universe. I think that's why they can get away with it. But maybe Blue Beetle can be sold to the youth because of Zola Maradona. We don't know. Where's 007 Mick? Who favourite actress? I think Amy Adams is absolutely fantastic. But there's been so many great actors, from the past. Not so much now. But there's so many female actors that I've admired through my time. Film Goblin. Cavill wasn't going to sign a new contract until he knew who was going to be in charge of DC and what the direction was for Superman. If that's what he did, then he's smart. We'll never know. That's the thing. We just don't know what happened. 1 minute he was back, then he wasn't. From the outside looking in, it sounds like he was never coming back and they lied to try and get Black Adam to make more money. That's my bet on it anyway. It was all very, very strange. 1 minute he was coming back, then he wasn't coming back. So something certainly went wrong. Reno Jack, have you ever watched Tales from the Crypt? No. I used to watch things like The Twilight Zone, Tales of the Unexpected, but not that. And Freddy's Nightmares, which was a TV series based on the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, which was very similar, I think, from Tales of the Crypt. Like these mystical, mysterious, kind of creepy things with a bit of a twist in the end. Like Black Mirror, if you like. Film Goblin, it's either WB lied or Cavill was doing what I was saying. Yeah, it's either one of those things. I've never thought about Cavill being the one to turn the thing down, but who knows? He didn't seem like, he was like, oh, well, I'm not Superman. Finally, all through the past few years, he's been going, I really want to play Superman. But in the end, he goes, spoke to James Gunn. It's not going to happen. Oh, well, these things happen. He didn't seem that bothered. So it's all very strange. Waz 007, my favourite actress, Goldie Hawn, and Anne Hathaway and Vanessa Hudgens. I thought we were talking about actresses, not women you want to shag. Joking. Blue Beetle animator, have you played in Spider-Man video games? I have before, yes. Blue Beetle animator. Keira Knightley is my favourite. Another crazy feminist, though. I wouldn't kick her out on a cold night, though, which would really find her offensive. Was 007 lol? Vanessa Hudgens. She's Miss Shaggable, isn't she? Everyone wants to shag Vanessa Hudgens. All those, overweight, greasy, sweaty guys who want to shag Vanessa Hudgens. She's probably really scared. Sorry, Vanessa, you're just hot. We all just want to make love to you, baby, because you're so hot. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. You just shouldn't be hot, sweetheart. You're just hot. But I don't think, Vanessa, it would work out between us, I'm afraid. Look at me and look at you. People be saying Beauty and the Beast. If anyone called you Beast, I'd be very offended. Film Goblin. Funny how John Campion claimed Ezra Miller wasn't going to do a press for The Flash until just the other day he was at the premiere. Waz 007, Mick, you're funny. The thing is, they said, it wasn't just camping, by the way, Variety, Hollywood Reporter, they all said he wasn't going to speak one word. They said he'd be at the premiere, but they said he wouldn't speak one word. And not only did he address the audience there, he also did an interview with a reporter, and I saw it on YouTube, and it was pretty good. He conducted himself really well, and I think he should do interviews because the damage has been done. It doesn't matter if he's there or not. The damage has been done. His reputation is toast. He's hurt the potential of this movie making more money than he would have. So you might as well have him answering questions. In fact, he should have been apologizing every 5 minutes. Because as I said, you'll be very surprised. The public are very forgiving if they think you're genuinely sorry. But him hiding or being hidden hasn't been a very good idea. Film Goblin, if WB was okay with Ezra being at the premiere, then there's a good chance he ain't leaving the role as the Flash. I don't think that's logical, Film Goblin. I think they're trying desperately to get people to come and see the movie. He has been dumped in the Clooney universe, so it's not looking good for him. I don't see him continuing as the Flash. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe they're crazy enough to do it. Waz 007, I love 90s sitcom. I grew up with the 80s sitcoms, Waz. Robin's Nest, Only Fools and Horses, The New Statesman, The Young Ones, Duty Free, Only When I Laugh. I'm HHPPY. Love it. I grew up with some great, talented people. Unfortunately, everyone's too easily offended today, so we can't joke, we can't watch sitcoms. It's very, very sad. We have to watch our P's, we have to watch our Q's. We live in a very dystopian society. It's the end of humanity. It is. It's basically, we are in now the end of humanity. This generation will never be able to create future generations that can progress humanity like past generations of humanity. This is where we are. Waz 007, Vanessa Hudgens want Catwoman in the Batman. Yeah, she didn't get it. I don't think she's the greatest of actors, to be honest. I think it's all about, as I was talking about earlier, Vanessa Hudgens is fit, and that's it. And that's why she has a career. We all know that. Vanessa Hudgens, is that her name? What's her name again? Vanessa Hudgens, yeah. Or Jones, or whatever you call her, right? Vanessa, Van. Me and Van are like that. But, at the end of the day, she ain't a good actor. She's solid, but, she's only there because people want to have sex with her. We have to be honest. It's no good pretending. Reno Jack, the current state of AI is literally heading towards what James Cameron was trying to warn about in Terminator movies. It is, and we don't listen to warnings. Humanity is so dumb. Business is going down this way of AI. It's not just the entertainment industry. This is happening everywhere. And they're doing it to save money, and it will turn against us. It will end up like that. Hopefully it's not Arnold Schwarzenegger, but it's very, very dangerous. And people are trying to fight against it. This is why the writers are striking. They're fighting against it. They're making a stand. There's more to this industrial action than money. It's a very important demonstration. And it'll be interesting in SAG-AFTRA, the Actors Union do go on strike. They voted for strike action, for industrial action, but let's see if they accept the offers made to them by the industry. Kalel, Vanessa is a superb actress with an amazing range. Well, that's one way of putting it. Reno Jack, real life Skynet. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is what happens with corporations. They're bastards. And ordinary people pay the price. Blue Beetle Animator, have you seen Mask of Zorro? With Banderas, yes. Waz 007, do you like film Grease? Shoop-ba-ba, shoop-ba-ba. Summer loving, happy at plans. We made out under the dark. She was good. You know what I mean? I love Grease. Danny Zuko, John Travolta, the late, great, wonderful Olivia Newton-John. What a film. And they're trying to reboot that as well. Fuck you, Hollywood. Fuck you. Spin on my middle finger. I hope that doesn't offend you, YouTube. I hope I don't lose my channel now. But I hate New Hollywood. They are the effing worst. I love Grease, and I love Grease 2 with Michelle Pfeiffer. Who's that guy? Where did he come from? Waz 007, I like the Grease film. That makes two of us. That makes the whole world. Great movies, but you can't have those type of movies because they're about straight people. We don't want to offend anyone by doing films about straight people. Very, very offensive, right? That's like why they're deciding that Wednesday season 2 is going to be about horror, not about romance, right? I bet you she ends up being bi and starts like making out with another girl. That will be cool. That will be fine with them. But straight romance, right? No, can't have that. Oh, yes, Cal. Vanessa Hudgens has got a great range. I can give her a great range, front and back. Oh, Mick, you're so good. You're better than my boyfriend or my husband that I pretend I'm in love with. You're so good, Mick. You're so better than him. You may not have a great body. You may not go to the gym, but you're a fantastic lover and you're so big. Yes, sweetheart. Oh, yes, they don't call me Big Mick for nothing. Waz 007, I like Play Zorro. Kal-El. Waz 007, ha ha ha. I love hot women. I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm an alpha male. I'm a straight man. Does that offend you, New Hollywood? I'm a straight man, and I love to fuck women. Yeah, and I love to perv on hot women on Instagram in bikinis and their underwear. What are you going to do? What are you going to do to me, eh? What are you going to do? I love sexualizing women. It's fucking great. I love it. I love it. When I'm walking down the street, I'm very polite. I don't look at women. I don't wolf whistle. I wait till they're halfway down the pavement, and then I check out their backsides to see what they're like. They don't know I've done it, but I do it because that's what straight people do. That's not just straight people. Gay people do it. It's what everyone fucking does it. Checks each other out, and that's okay as long as you're not offensive. You're not, you're not trying to do anything illegal, or you're making someone nervous. As long as they don't know you're looking, it's fine. That's what normal people do. That's what people in normal society do. And if that offends someone, I don't care. I drink beer, I smoke, I fucking swear, I love my movies, I love my TV. I'm just a normal geezer, and that's okay, right? And at least us, the public, don't pretend we're the best, right? Like Hollywood do. We've never done nothing wrong, even though they're a bunch of criminal, law-breaking, paedophile, drug-taking, murderous bastards. They lecture us, their customer. It's a joke, right? It's an absolute joke. They're all corrupt. I don't mind them being corrupt. I used to accept them in the olden days being corrupt. I mean, Charlie Chaplin was a talent, a genius. But he was getting married to 16 and 17-year-old girls. Disgusting, right? But he didn't lecture, although he did start lecturing his audience in the end. He actually became a bit woke, actually. And they actually ran him out of the country for it. I mean, that wouldn't happen today. But yeah, I mean, bad people do great things. But you shouldn't be a hypocrite. You shouldn't be telling me how to behave when you're taking drugs, abusing kids, murdering people, and using the LAPD to cover up your crimes. You shouldn't be lecturing me or other men who make you money. You should know when to shut the fuck up. And that's how I feel about it. We're the bosses. We're the consumer. We decide what we go and see, what we spend our money on. You need us more than we need you. So zip it, behave, get on your bended knees and say you're the best for consuming our shit, right? You're not better than us. You're just there to service us. So start making great movies, great entertainment, okay? Charlie Chaplin, last film he saw was Rocky. Didn't know that. News to me. I mean, Charlie Chaplin was the pioneer, one of the pioneers of Hollywood. Professionally, the man was a sensation, a genius. I mean, he used to score his own movies. He directed his own movies. He acted in his own movies. I mean, he was amazing. But, oh dear, what's going on? Am I losing? No. But he likes young girls. And he used his power in Hollywood to get young girls. He pressured his young wives to have abortions. So even back in in the pioneers' days, I can respect him for what he did for the industry, but they're all bad people. They've always been bad people. They're bad people today as well. So the best thing is, if you want to be bad people who do great things, I respect that. But don't lecture your public, because you are worse people than we'll ever be. We're all flawed. We all do bad things in life, but don't lecture us. Don't lecture ordinary working class people when you are 20 billion times worse than us, right? You're nothing. And even worse, you're Americans, right? No offense to Americans watching, right? I mean, you say mom instead of mum. I mean, that should be a criminal offense. Mom. I mean, where did they get... I mean, sorry, Americans, I don't want to be offensive, but why do you say mom instead of mum? Why do you say tomato instead of tomato? Right? We allowed you to, Henry Cavill and Chris Evans, good people. How do we know? Charlie Chaplin, no, we've read that already. But, right, think about it, right? We allowed you to leave the empire to explore, the Atlantic. And you went and you not only did you invade somebody else's country and murder the natives and everything, you actually murdered the English language as well. Mom. How'd you get mom? I don't get it. Why is it mom? Don't you like the letter U? I don't get it. Mom, it's mum. I mean, I'm surprised they don't say Dod instead of dad. And they say vehicle. It's not vehicle. You've got the hiccups or something. It's vehicle. What? What's your problem? I want to get Americans on this channel, on lives, and I want to teach you how to speak the Queen's English. Waz 007, James Cameron, great choice for Aquaman film. Well, listen, Waz, I think James Wan did a great job with the first movie. I haven't seen the finished Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, but the first movie was stunning. So, yes, James Cameron would make great Aquaman movie, but I think James Wan should be respected for what he did with the first movie. Brilliant director, by the way. I never know what happened to the Trench movie he was going to make, which was going to be horror, which is right up James's street as well. So that's a shame. But that's what happens when you work for WB. You just can't trust these people. They're horrible people. And when you've got these companies making creative decisions, as I keep on saying, it's going to end in tears. Creatives should make creative decisions, not corporations. Corporations and, executives and your Zaslavs, and your, what's his name, Safrans, they don't understand about creativity and entertainment. And that's why the industry is on its knees. Let the creatives you employ make the creative decisions. Waz 007, The Godfather Part 1, good film. It really is. Right, we're going to wrap things up now, everyone. It's nearly 2 hours since I came live, so you've got a good piece of me, like Vanessa Hudgens did. Joking, only wishful thinking. And Catherine Zeta-Jones was a bit of all right in her day. Darling Buds of May. Oh, yeah, mate, yeah. But yeah, it's been a great live. I've really, really enjoyed doing this live, having a laugh. It's all jokes. It's a joke. Calm down. I'm not really disrespecting those women, but I really would love to get, I'm not, at the end of the day, I'm only human. I like beautiful women, right? Genuine beautiful women, not the ones who put filters on and stand at the right angles and not actually attract, hot women. But you're nothing to look at, Mick. I know that, but I'm not delusional, so that's okay. Waz007, thanks live, Mick. You are very welcome, Waz. Thank you, everyone, for the likes. We've got a record-breaking 10 likes tonight. So my tactic of starting the stream early, doing my dinner and coming in actually worked. Well done, everyone. I appreciate all the likes, all the conversations, all the questions. I will return tomorrow in the morning around I'd say about 10 a.m. UK time, so we will understand the set time because we'll come from different countries, of course. I'll be back around 10 a.m. UK time for tomorrow's DC Universe Daily as we get closer to the release of the Flash movie. In a lot of countries, of course, it will be released tomorrow. In America, the previews will begin, and tomorrow we'll be able to see the kind of box office that previews have brought in. And historically, the money for previews kind of tells you if the film is going to be successful or not. Waz007, I came your show. I'm glad you came and watched my show as well. The more the merrier. Thank you, everyone. This has been Movies TV Mad. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives, like Vanessa Hudgens. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss this beautiful perfection. Smash the like button if you love me. Subscribe if you're new. Please have your say. It's what it's all about. Thank you for coming in. Until I see you tomorrow for Thursday's edition of the DC Universe Daily. Goodbye. Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen. Thank you very much, everyone. See you tomorrow. I've really genuinely had a cracking time. And my fellow Americans, I didn't mean to offend you. I was joking. I just don't understand why you say mom instead of mom. All right, bye. See you later. It's not motherfucker. It's mother. Anyway, see you later. I'll give you more English lessons tomorrow. No offense, of course. It's a joke. It's fine. Back tomorrow. Thank you for your support. Love you all. See you later.